Maize farmers in Zimbabwe are smiling to the banks as prices continue firming on the commodity exchange that has recently been allowed to trade the grain. Earlier this year, the government lifted the grain marketing board's maize and the wheat buying monopoly, aimed at improving price recovery and the market efficiency for the crops, which are now in surplus. Now, the Southern African nation's grain production has risen since 2021 on the back of an increased private sector funding for farmers. Here is more of that in this report.
Up until July, grain and wheat farmers had to sell their crop to the state-owned Grain Marketing Board. However, a government statutory instrument has lifted control of the trade in the crops.
Now farmers have a choice in terms of what to do with their commodities, especially those self-financed farmers. So they can keep their commodity in storage, they can go sell to GMB, they can sell on ZMX, they can enter into forward contracts.
The government liberalized trade in strategic grains to allow farmers to fetch market-determined prices amidst concerns over delayed.
For you to achieve sustainability in primary production, the markets should inform primary production actually. So you need to have sound and robust and systematic and sustainable mechanisms of price discovery so that ultimately our farmers do remain viable, the whole value chain remains viable.
The move also aligns with efforts to increase private sector participation in the agricultural sector. Government has a minority 20% stake in the Zimbabwe Mercantile Exchange, where 7 commodities are currently traded. Deliveries to warehouses under the exchange are expected to cut post-harvest losses and allow farmers to use warehouse receipts as collateral.
It actually unlocks the value, or what I would call the dead capital. The commodities that the farmer has harvested, before they actually are able to sell them, they can use that to access financial services and use that as collateral and use that to access, to be bankable, to be creditworthy.
Zimbabwe's grain production has risen since 2021 on the back of increased private sector funding for farmers. This year, Zimbabwe is sitting on a 600,000-ton surplus of maize and expects to exceed its local requirement of wheat by 60,000 tons. Farai Mwakutuya, CGTN, Harare, Zimbabwe.